This edition of Agenda comes to you from the National Zoo here in the capital, Delhi. Behind me, the stands where thousands of people queue up every day with their children, with their friends, to come get a taste of wildlife, to get a taste of nature, see the animals over here. And today, from the Delhi Zoo, we saw heartbreaking images come up. And those images that you see on your screen of a 20-year-old young man pleading for his life in front of a tiger. And after that, of course, there was tragedy. On Agenda today, we'll try and get to the bottom of the story, to try and figure out, is there anything that could have been done to avoid what happened today, the death of this 20-year-old at the Delhi Zoo. We'll be speaking to special guests on the show, but first, let's just see exactly what led, the circumstances which led to this unfortunate tragedy.
A young man killed by a tiger in Delhi Zoo, a tragedy perhaps unimaginable if it wasn't for these pictures. These images and accounts by eyewitnesses is helping to piece together just what happened to Maqsood, a 20-year-old from Delhi. These make it clear the tiger didn't kill the man immediately. Bizarrely, he even folded his hands. The tiger apparently circled the youth for several tense, agonizing minutes.
हटते-हटते उसे बहुत टाइम हो गया, काफी 15 से 10 मिनट तक होगा उसको। होने के बाद में उसने उसको पंजा मारा, पंजा मारने के बाद में वो शेर थोड़ा सा पीछे को हटा, इतने में एक ने पत्थर उठा के मारा। पत्थर उठा के मारने के बाद में जब उसने उसकी गर्दन पकड़ी, फिर एक बार पकड़ के छोड़ दी थी, फिर दोबारा पकड़ी, ठाकर फिर उसे ले गया।
What's not entirely clear is how or why Maqsood ended up in the moat, which is an 18-foot drop.
As far as the security lapses are concerned, we can see that there are two barricades over here. This on the other side, essentially, where you can see people are standing, other media crews are standing, that is the area where visitors are essentially supposed to stand on the other side. But this man had clearly crossed over to this side of the barricade and had been slumping over to on this side, after which he fell. So how exactly was he allowed to cross over even to this portion? That is something, a question which security officials over here will have to answer.
Given the safety features, like the moat plus the barrier, zoo officials say they can't be blamed and that Maqsood jumped in.
पुलिस इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रही है, वो आपका ड्रिंक किया भी हो सकता है, नशेड़ी भी हो सकता है, या खुदकशी भी कर सकता है। यहाँ पर सब तरह के वाक़या अब हैं। अब जब तक जांच नहीं होगी, पुलिस अपनी FIR लॉज बताएगी क्या रीजन हो सकते हैं।
Only one security guard was nearby. He did not know what to do. He was not enough trained. So all he could think of is that I should shoo away people.
So did Maqsood blatantly disregard rules and put his own life in danger, or was this just a tragic accident? Were security guards not alert enough, and why did it take zoo authorities more than 15 minutes to respond? When they finally arrived on the scene, were they not sufficiently equipped to save Maqsood's life?
जितनी अभी प्रिलिमिनरी इंक्वायरी हुई है कि जो ट्रेंच है, इसमें ये जो लड़का था, ये गिर गया था या कूद गया था, it's a matter of inquiry.
The tiger, who was born at the zoo, was finally scared away into a cage by officials. But it was too late. The tiger had killed Maqsood by breaking his neck.
A caged animal cannot be held responsible for what happened at the National Zoo in the capital today. The question which everyone is asking is whether or not the security protocol on part of the zoo authorities should have been strong enough to begin with to counter and handle such a situation. With camera person Ashwini Mehra reporting from the capital, Tanima Biswas for NDTV.
So lots of unanswered questions over there. Just to give an idea to those viewers who are outside Delhi, the zoo here is located in the heart of the city. You have a residential area just next door, and usually a lot of people who live in the nearby areas like Sundarnagar tell us that, you know, they can hear the animals at night. It's that close. And of course today a lot of the officials, we asked some of the officials to come on our show to explain some of these ideas to us, but they're all busy in meetings. Obviously a huge crisis for them here in the city. But we have some experts over here. We have Bindya Sehgal of Wildlife SOS who works with the Delhi Zoo. We also have joining us from the capital a wildlife specialist and also an author on the subject, Jaisal Singh, who joins us as well. And here perhaps somebody who can give us the best account of what happened, Captain over here, Shraddha, who came here with your children and your mother to kind of enjoy the zoo really. Then tell us what happened.
We heard some noise near the cage, and we came to see what exactly was happening because we thought maybe the animal has come out, so we were really excited to see the white tiger. And the moment we reached, we saw that there's a boy inside and he is right in front of the tiger. Then a noise came, something triggered, maybe somebody threw a stone, or we are not sure what exactly happened, but the tiger caught hold of the boy by his neck and he dragged him, and we could see that the boy was still alive in the clutches of the animal, but he was trying to shake his hands, trying to do something, but this whole incident went on for around 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah, so he...
And just to clarify, Captain Shraddha, because this part is important, and a lot of people have raised that question, did anyone see the stones being thrown at the tiger? Because some people have said that he wasn't attacking, it was only when someone provoked him by throwing stones. Did anyone see that?
I am not sure. My mother said that yes, she saw somebody picking up a stone.
Some visitors.
No, I'm not sure of that. But people were trying to shout because the boy was inside, and they was trying to shout so that the animal, the tiger moves away or gets scared and leaves the boy. But maybe that is what provoked the animal. We are not sure.
Well, watching that must have been really traumatic for you and your family. And I just want to ask Bindya Sehgal over here. You've heard the accounts. We've heard, of course, there are a lot of unanswered questions. We've heard one official even say that he may have been under the influence of alcohol. He may have even tried to commit suicide. But obviously, they're not saying what it is exactly till the post-mortem report comes in. From what we all know right now, what do you make of this?
I think we need to be very concerned about visitor awareness when they visit such facilities. It's an educational and awareness facility as well, and there are certain rules and guidelines, and I believe there are barriers and there are messages posted all over the zoo warning people to keep a safe distance from the animals. So
how do you think that played a part in this particular case?
It may not have played a part, but I think people are aware or they follow the rules, then the incident wouldn't have happened. I mean, if he's aware and he's not supposed to cross the barriers, the tragedy would not have occurred.
Jaisal Singh, we're hearing lots of versions over here. You just heard a first-person account, an eyewitness account from Captain Shraddha. The question really is, from what we know right now, were there any laxity? Were the authorities lax in the measures that they took?
So Netra, first and at the outset, condolences to the family. What's happened is very, very sad. But I don't think that you can peg the blame on anyone for this incident. The rules are very clear. There is signage right around that zoo. There is also multiple barriers, as was reported in the story and other people have said. This person, from whatever I have heard, actually jumped over the barriers, jumped over the fences, over a wall and into an enclosure where there was a tiger. That itself will attract trouble. The tiger didn't probably do anything for the time that this man stood still or sat still. I think some reports say that stones were pelted. I don't know whether that's true or not true, but also I heard that the man tried to run, and if you try and run from a predator, a tiger especially, or a big cat, it's going to perceive you as prey and it is going to go for you. So that's just that's to start with. The other thing,
Just one second, let me just confirm that a little bit, because you're making an important point there, Captain Shraddha. Did he try to run? You didn't see that?
No.
So it may be unconfirmed. Just go ahead. She's saying she can't confirm the running bit. Go ahead with your other point.
So that's there. And the other thing that I'd like to say is that I heard the authorities and their protocols have been better. Everything can be better, but I do not think that the authorities, from whatever I've heard, could have really prevented much under the current circumstances. This is not the only place that such an incident has taken place. I think in 2012 a man of a similar age, I think he was 21, jumped into the tiger's enclosure in Copenhagen Zoo and met the same fate, unfortunately. So it has happened in other places. That's one thing. The other thing is, yes, if you look at what the zoo authorities can do, I do have a suggestion, which is you could actually put an alarm system around the enclosures of dangerous animals, which is like a fire alarm, you know, in a sort of glass box that can be broken, which sets off a massive sound in the enclosure. Now, if such a crazy sound took place, and chances are it would startle that tiger, and the tiger would run away from the sound. So I think putting an alarm is there. It would also, probably alert the tiger. Secondly, it would alert all the staff of the zoo who could then come in. You know, zoos cannot have dart guns at the ready 24/7.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Jaisal Singh, because when I was speaking to Captain Shraddha earlier, you told me what really shocked you was how ad hoc, you know, how they seemed really unprepared for any such situation, and they weren't focusing on what was happening inside. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I would exactly like to say that, because first is the security staff was not well equipped. They did not have any radios or any way to communicate to the higher authorities immediately for an immediate action.
So what was happening for the 15-20 minutes?
I saw only one security guard with a baton come, and he was
with
trying
a baton.
with a baton, and he was trying to shoo away people instead of concentrating on saving the boy.
Did any kind of alarm go off?
No alarm went off. He did not have a radio to inform his higher authority. He did not know how to act in such a situation. He was not trained enough to understand and take a decision that what he is supposed to focus at such a situation and how he is supposed to react.
Binjay Sekhar, when you said you worked with the zoo.
No, I don't work with the zoo. I work for wildlife.
Okay, no, but when in your meetings with them, do you think sometimes this is a kind of situation which they could have preempted, which they could have prepared better for?
Well, if you see the total number of incidents that have happened not only in India but in the world, they're very few and far between.
Right.
And there are safety protocols and procedures. I think in a country like India, where you see rules being flouted, maybe the best thing is public awareness, you know, visitor awareness when they come to the zoo, to not create a situation where incidents like this may occur.
Okay, and you know, a lot of people seem to be writing in a lot of things. For instance, I saw obviously this entire incident has provoked a lot of reaction. Some people, a lot of people concerned for the animals, saying let's not blame the tiger, but some others also questioning the whole aspect of how zoos are maintained. Some young people over here, what did you want to say?
Well, I want to say that there should be some safety measures present in the zoo, and I don't think so that if they are present in the zoo, they are actually not fulfilled by the zoo authorities, and there should be some strict measures taken by the government or the tourism minister.
Okay.
So they can do something.
And I also believe that it was also a foolishness of the boy to cross the boundary and to cross the safety rinks, to go in there and actually do something as foolish as that. And also I think the people who pelted the rocks, I think they were also very stupid. How
Well,
can
we are not sure about that, so
Yeah.
let's not go by that completely. These are little things. Yes, go ahead.
More, I would like to point that it's somewhere down it's a fault of zoo administration, because as a zoo administration you must aware the public how to enter in the zoo, or how to, you know, enact with the wildlife, or how to just go with the wildlife, because when you are entering in the wildlife situation, you have to think about the comfort level of the other animals or of other living creatures.
Okay, I accept what you're saying. Yeah, go ahead.
I think if you read the signages all around the zoo, they're clearly warning you to keep distance from the animals, whether it is outside the monkey cage or whether it is where the where the predators are. So I think there's plenty of signage there.
Do you think that, I know that you said this happens across the world, but do you think there is perhaps an attitudinal change that's required about the way all of us interact or behave in zoos?
Sunetra, I think that first and foremost, what happened, as I said, is extremely sad. But the fact of the matter is that the rule of the zoo was not followed by this young man if he jumped in, or if he crossed the barricade, or if he attempted to cross it, whether it was to take a picture and he slipped, whether he jumped in intentionally, whatever, the rule was still flouted. There are rules, and as a general rule of thumb in India, you have to follow the rules. There are rules, as one of your panelists just said, that there is adequate signage. There is signage there. there are wild animals and there are multiple layers before you can get to that animal. If you jump over all of those, nothing can really save you. You can keep arguing whether the zoo authorities, reacted fast enough, didn't react fast enough. The first and foremost, the man broke the law, broke the rule and jumped into a tiger's cage where he shouldn't have been.
Okay, just to point out to our viewers, we don't know the entire story yet. There is some speculation that in some parts of the press, this is all unconfirmed. Just to kind of specifically say, we don't know whether he was under the influence of alcohol, we don't know what his state of mind was. So this story is still developing, but you wanted to say something.
Yeah, that is one thing I would like to say. See, people need to have more civic sense. That is very true. But you have put signages everywhere. There are many people who are illiterate in India. So you need to have some sound system also where you are announcing these kinds of instructions.
Is that a valid thing?
Yes, there may be people who cannot read the signs, but I think it is fairly common knowledge that when you go into a zoo, when there are barriers, they are there for a purpose.
So in that respect, you won't blame the officials?
No.
At all. Okay, the final takeaway from this, we just have a couple of minutes left. Jaisal Singh, is there any lesson from this terrible, terrible tragedy, those pictures haunting all of us? Really, but is there any takeaway? I know you said perhaps a really easy way is that alarm. Anything else?
Well, there should be an alarm system around the enclosure of every dangerous animal that sets off a really loud alarm. It will, one, startle the animal, and two, it will alert the zoo authorities. That's the first point. The second thing is, it might also be prudent in front of the enclosures of certain animals like tigers, maybe posting one well-trained marshal, so to speak, who is there, and if anyone is seen climbing, he can try and prevent him. Now, if there's a lot of people and someone jumps over and he's, 50 yards away.
Is that an international standard?
Yeah, I mean, I took my children to the Regent's Park Zoo recently, and it also has a similar moat and a double barrier system like the Delhi Zoo. It's very, very similar. There are not huge fences in front of the tiger's enclosure there, but there are one or two people around. But let me tell you, if I attempted to jump into the enclosure at the Regent's Park Zoo, I would have probably succeeded. So, and it is a very well managed zoo, Regent's Park. So
obviously
first and foremost, awareness. I think awareness and people, and you see this civic sense is lacking generally around us where we look. People must follow basic rules. And I think that is the key. You cannot just blame the zoo authorities. People have to take care of themselves. They're adults.
You're making that point. Yeah. We're really running out of time. Is there one thing that you think that can...
I think awareness, public awareness, visitor awareness, and even at our schools, They are the ones who visit the zoos the most, so inform the children of the do's and don'ts before entering the premises.
Can I ask?
Yes, sure.
In my school, when I was in my school, I got to know from my teacher that a tiger can easily jump 12 to 13 feet. So how can if sometime a tiger jump over it, then what we can do?
We have had no case of this actually happening.
Okay, we can't go into that. No, finally, we're totally out of time. I just wanted to ask you, do you think... Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
His point is valid. A tiger can jump pretty high, 12 to 14 feet. A tiger can jump, but the zoo's moat, I think, is much higher. I mean, the fence is much higher than that.
Man jumped 12 to 13 feet, ma'am. A barrier.
It was raised. Well, we don't know those exact details yet, so we can't speculate on that. I just want to end by asking you, because perhaps that will be something that, the larger lesson that goes off. You brought your son over here, you brought your kids over here, your daughter. Do you think that this has put her off animals? Is she scarred, do you think, about it? Or?
Yeah, she is scared, but see, I would like to bring her again and teach her that you have to follow the rules. Civic sense has to be there, but I would also expect that the security is trained and well equipped. They were not well equipped at all and trained.
Well, Captain Shraddha, thanks very much for sharing your experience with us. It must have been a really, really tough day for you. Vindhya Sehgal, Jaisal Singh, thanks so much for joining us on this. That's it on Agenda. Perhaps there's a lot more that needs to be answered on this story. So it's a story we'll keep tracking over here. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.